of is that, oh my God, if I become one of those God people, I'll become weird and itchy. People won't like me. People laugh because I'm different. I laugh because they're all the same. The difference is that when we really devote ourselves to that I am, the eternal, real truth of who we are, not the shell of what we bring into this world. When we do that, we don't experience, let me put it this way. In this world, it seems like so much fun. There's so many fun things to do. Am I going to have to give that fun up? I'm going to really be this God person? But the difference is, when you become that blissful troubadour person and carry that God and say, I am God in the world, you experience joy. Joy is different than fun. Fun is good. I spent the 80s having fun. Sometimes I regret I had so much fun. But joy is not seeing this plane. It's having those invisible eyes that keep our eye on what God is seeking for us. And then it's amazing. Do you know that daily word, that one little page of the daily word? That's my whole message. I was like, oh my God, you do it so better than me. That's one page of the whole message. And that's God's work. Because God worked through all of us in our own individual ways of being God, of saying the same thing that God wants all of us to hear today. So step up. And in all our challenges, seek God's view. If you could think back on Monday, last Monday, you might remember this. Because it was a day, apparently there was like an astrological portal. I didn't know that. I started prayer partnering that morning with my partner, Kristen. And before that, I was reading from Science of Mind. I was really feeling it, wow, I am surfing the godness. I am strong. I can't imagine ever not being like this. Wow. And then I talked to Kristen. She told me about the portal, and she was feeling strong. We were driving it. I went through Tuesday. I had some big challenges this week. Rocked it. Wednesday morning, did a presentation, rocked it. But right afterwards, I don't know what happened. On Wednesdays, when I Wednesdays I go to my mom's, and I help the 9-year-old lady do anything she needs. And that day, it was hard. I was tense, I was tired, and by Thursday, on a huge week, I was lying flat. And I wasn't sick. I couldn't do a thing. So where was my I am presence that day? Oh, it was hard. I had to use all my energy to help my body. And my mind, it wanted to do this. It wanted to, Lisa. It was trying. But I decided I'm going to step up. And so I had to force myself to step up. It was hard. I talked to Kristen that morning. Kristen, same thing. Her body was about to give up. And she too, the same pattern. So we have those times. But will we muster it within ourselves? Because when we sever from that stinking thinking, then we surrender to where there is peace. So that day, as much as my body wasn't with me, I trusted that God would come through with all the other pressures that weren't getting addressed. And I'm telling you, miraculously, God did. So with you, do you have something to step up to? purified mind and heart that is at peace. It's a purified mind and heart that is at peace. So the more that we take our stuff and turn it over, the purer and clearer we feel. And that's when we radiate. Pure mind that is at peace. Pure mind that is at peace. Pure mind. And so the third step, after stepping up and then seeking to see God's vision, the last is to serve all. To serve all. Has anyone heard of Tikkum Olam? It's a... Hi, George. Good. Tikkum Olam is a term that was created... Oh, you can't see it at all. It's a term that was created by a Kabbalist in the 16th century who said, our task is to help God restore the wholeness to a broken world. We see a broken world today. But what that refers to is that in the beginning of time, God was just one. And God sought to have relationships so God could experience God's self. So God exploded into billions of pieces, part of us, God, in each one of us and in everything. And so restoring the wholeness is a reminder, we're all one. You're God. 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 Say, I am God. I am God. I am, I am. Sam, I am, I am. Let's say it again. But as if you were the one that created the universe, because you are. I am. I am. David and I went to Niagara Falls to celebrate our anniversary, 6 happy years. And we, when we were there was, we always hike around the falls, from the Canadian side to the American side. So we always hike around the falls. When we were over there on the American side, all of a sudden, the most fat, mink-sized big squirrel comes running up to us about this far away and stops and sits up. And I look at it and I say, what do you want? And it looks at me and it stays there and it stays there and then it realizes it ain't going to get what it wants and it runs away. And I go, what is that about? That is bizarre. But then we walked about a quarter mile down the road around a bend, and I saw this man kind of doing these acrobatic things, and with this whistle, kind of odd whistle. I can't imitate it. And then I walked over to him, and I realized, no wonder the squirrel's expecting me to feed him. This guy's feeding the squirrels. So this is John. John was there feeding the squirrels. He goes there every day at 5 o'clock. I'm sorry, every day in the afternoon between 2 and 5. Did I say every day? It's once a week. Every Friday between 2 and 5. He goes to feed the squirrels. And the squirrels, they just all come up, they sit up, and he feeds them. He also feeds the birds. And I'm telling you, all the birds in the area, one after another, puts a lot of food in his hand, they come. And then the blue jays, I said, what about the blue jays? I hear them around. What do they do? And he said, well, I throw it up to them and they catch it in the air. I swear to God, he throws it up. They come to a branch behind him and they catch it in the air. So, John is serving as only he could do. And each of us has a way to serve as only we could do. Every week on Friday, he goes there, and he has for 3 or 4 years. No wonder those squirrels are so fat. And they're used to him feeding them. But there's something in our hearts that we are meant to do as big as the universe. And when we become receptive to God working through us and stepping up and listening, that we could come through and restore the wholeness to the world just by bringing our part of the God self in. When you purify your mind, your heart is at peace. These steps will help purify that mind that wants to bring weight and gravity to your experience in the earth plane. You are a God self. You know that's the truth. This community knows that's the truth of who you are. So I ask you, who is God? Who is God?
I am.
Who is God?
I am that I am.
And so the voice said, will the real God please stand up and run us on TV? You are God. And you as a church are radiating consciousness of love in this planet. We know this because you are bringing in a new home, which was once an invisible vision. And collectively you believed in that vision and you're still believing in that vision. And now your purpose, which is now unseen, is going to explode and it's going to be big. Go out there, each of you, bring forth your radiant light, step up, seek God's view, and serve all with the love in your heart.
That's nice.